Writer, director Sean Donahue brings us Swamp Woman, and this one stars Sushii Xhyvette as our main character, Dr. Angela Honeydew. And you've also got a notable cameo appearance from Lloyd Kaufman as well, obviously known from Trauma movies. Probably the most recognisable face here, I would say. It is a low-budget, quite short movie, only runs around an hour, clearly influenced by the Swamp Thing character, probably more the movie than the actual comic book as such. But I would say it has throwbacks to the kind of the grindhouse exploitation movies from the 70s, and a little bit of kind of 50s monster movie thrown in there as well. What's the story? Well, it focuses on this female scientist, Dr. Angela Honeydew, and her partner, who are moving to this kind of swampland laboratory to kind of use this kind of new formula that she's developed to manipulate one's DNA. And a rival scientist gets wind of this and hires a group of thugs to steal this formula. But in a struggle, Angela is doused in this kind of formula, runs into the swamp, and turns into Swamp Woman, wanting revenge. What will happen? You'll have to watch the movie and find out. So far, so Swamp Thing. What makes this movie watchable, if anything at all? Well, like I said, this is a movie that's wearing its B-movie cred on its sleeve. I mean, the movie runs only around an hour, and I would say 10 minutes of that hour is taken up with two extended shower sequences of our two main female leads showering together. So that should set the tone for you about where this kind of movie is. So yes, lots of boobs on display. Now, I give credit where credit is due. Sushii Xhyvette pretty much spends the majority of the movie naked, either in the shower or running around the kind of the forestry area in green kind of paint. So there is that. I mean, you have to look at this movie through the lens of a schlocky B movie. This is not trying to be a serious horror movie. It's not trying to be a high drama or anything like that. It's trying to be a schlocky movie, and it's obviously very low budget. Does it have an entertainment value? I mean, the movie does have basically an arc. It does actually have a narrative arc. And some of these like low budget schlocky films are just kind of spectacle and kind of like, that'll be a fun sequence. There's no actual kind of arc. I mean, yes, the story is literally a recycled retelling of the Swamp Thing script, albeit very kind of truncated and really without any depth, but there is an arc to it at least. There is actually a story progression. So that's something to be said, at the very least. I did actually quite enjoy a few of the characters here. Our two female leads, our main character played by Sushii Xhyvette and her kind of partner, I actually think struck the right balance of being kind of schlocky and over the top kind of B-movie acting, but actually having, you know, interesting characters to a certain degree, and ones that you can, you know, admittedly the acting isn't brilliant, but you can at least buy into their characters for the kind of the silly kind of movie that it is. And there's also like a group of thugs. I thought a couple of them actually, again, just got that kind of balance right, where I think it's on the right kind of medium of being campy, but also being a character where you are, you know, you can kind of like understand where they're going story-wise at least, without it being too over the top, too silly, or taken too seriously at the same time either. There's a smattering of characters that I think do work in that. So there's also some reasonable kind of very, very low budget kind of practical VFX, where our Swamp Woman turns into this kind of, you know, she's a creature now, and she kind of kills people with chopping off their head, pulling out their hearts, things like that. Again, we have to have that expectation. This is an extraordinarily low budget film, but nonetheless, you can still appreciate the kind of like the blood spraying from one's neck once it's been bitten and things like that. So it kind of is fun. Because of its short length as well, it's quite a kind of a punchy film. It knows it wants to kind of, you know, get in there, show you some boobs, show you some kind of kills, a bit of monsters, and then get out again. So yeah, it's a kind of a probably would be a well-timed movie in regards to its running length. You know, it's relatively punchy. It doesn't spend too long on you know, on sequences that you may not be kind of interested in, but it gives you just enough kind of story, I think, to make it a comprehensible movie. Okay, so what doesn't work? I mean, this is a very, very low budget film. You have to be of that kind of mindset to really enjoy this. I would say general audiences, it's just going to be too low, too low budget, too schlocky, too silly for people to enjoy. I think some of the acting goes a little bit too silly and too pantomimey, including a small role from our director here, where the characters are just kind of too over the top and are actually quite, you know, painful to watch at times. I have kind of mixed feelings about our villain, this evil kind of scientist. He's actually channeling Jack Nicholson's Joker to a certain degree. There's even the line he's lifted from the 1989 Batman movie, and you can kind of tell the performance is a kind of a Joker-esque kind of style performance. But again, I think it's a little bit too silly, a little bit over the top, and ends up becoming kind of juvenile. And this movie certainly has a juvenile kind of feel to it, but it does have, you know, swearing. It has a reasonable amount of kind of nudity in it, and obviously a couple of kills as well. The story itself, as I say, isn't anything new. It is literally just taking cues from an existing kind of property and kind of making it, you know, a shortened, low-budget kind of version of it. So if you are watching this and you're genuinely wanting to watch a story, like I said, it's not anything. I mean, it is there, but it's nothing original and it's nothing too in depth at all as well. And again, this low-budget movie just has that kind of like quite cheap feel to it. The cinematography is mixed. There's a couple of okay kind of shots of B-roll here, but we're going to get shaky kind of camera here and there. Some of the kind of like the sets are like look like it's just made of cardboard walls and things like that. You know, again, it's if you're familiar with B movies, you'll just kind of think it's deliberately being silly. But again, if you are watching this, maybe not too familiar with low budget kind of horror films and stuff, you might think, well, that looks ridiculous. But it does look ridiculous. I mean, to judge this movie, we have to kind of bear in mind the movie that it's trying to be, but also kind of, are we being, you know, objectively looking at it, is this a good movie? No, I don't think it's a good movie. I think it's an entertaining movie if you are of the right mindset, if you kind of appreciate kind of B movies and things like that and schlock. There's a little bit to enjoy here. It's a kind of like in and out, you know, you watch it once and you kind of, you know, relatively enjoy it. But I don't think it's anything you'll necessarily go back to. So I will give it a 4 out of 10 because I would say, I can't honestly say it's like an average kind of film. It's probably a low budget, below average film in regards to its kind of, you know, critical quality and stuff, but it has some entertainment value. So it's a 4 out of 10. I think it would appeal to those people certainly it's made for. The trauma audience. Lloyd Kaufman's probably a good example of what to expect. If you like trauma films, you'd probably like this. You know, and that's it. Anyone else, you're not going to probably get on with this one. So overall, a critic review of 4 out of 10 for me. Have you seen it? What did you think of it? Please do leave me a comment and I'll look forward to seeing you next time.